Best laid plans of mice and men often go awry, which is a saying that all of us as truckers, people, working class folks of any sort have encountered before. Hello, YouTube. Happy Sunday evening. Hope wherever you're at, you're having a good day, good weekend. Hope your team did okay today. If you're an NFL fan, my team did not, which is very unfortunate, and maybe I'll talk about that at some point, but it's kind of sad. So for now, just gonna let it ride as is and hope for a brighter future starting next weekend. Anyway, it is Sunday evening, September the 26th. Tomorrow is Monday, September the 27th. And if you are at all aware of the trucking world, or you keep an ear to the ground when it comes to trucking YouTube, you know that tomorrow there are planned a series of trucker strikes across three major markets of the eastern seaboard of the United States in protest of President Biden's forthcoming executive order / executive action regarding mandating COVID-19 vaccinations for all workers across all industries, regardless of personal privilege and or preference and or choice. I haven't dug too deeply into the situation to see if he's still trying to appease the religious groups by not requiring religious or not denying religious exemptions. I really have no idea because, again, I am already vaccinated. So as far as I'm concerned, at the moment, this executive action does not personally affect me. But as I've said in previous videos, I do know that the vaccines, for some people, they are a legitimate concern regarding different people's health and well-being because of either they're already immunocompromised from a previous health issue, or they have a specific health need and they are concerned the vaccine could impede that. Now, if you are one of those folks watching and you are someone who feels you could be put at adverse risk from the vaccine, trust me, I am on your side. I support your choice not to become vaccinated or not to get vaccinated, because if you are one of those people, you do need more information from actual medical professionals, not the internet, not WebMD, not the federal government, who can actually, tell you, yes, this vaccine is going to be fine for you, or no, you should wait until there's a new version, a new option that is not going to negatively impact your health or your immune system or whatever could be put at risk by the vaccine. Because, again, if you're not familiar with the situation, there are two variants of the vaccine. There is the mRNA version, which is being produced and distributed by Pfizer and Moderna. Those are the two-shot options, where you get the first initial shot, and then to become fully vaccinated, you then get a second shot to complete the vaccination process, which to me seems odd. But again, I am not a medical scientist of any sort. I am a truck driver, and as a result, I do not have the full picture. So I'm not going to get too deeply into the specifics. And the other option, of course, is the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which I personally recommend just because that's the one I got. Because as a driver, I didn't want to be putting my work schedule and work availability at risk by having to schedule my working life around the second vaccine shot. I wanted to go in, get the jab, take a day to make sure I was going to be okay, and then get right back to work, which is what I did, and it worked out fine for me. I'm rabbit trailing quite a bit. I do apologize if you've been watching this entire time. I thank you for at least letting me ramble on here. But if you have any kind of legal awareness about the situation regarding President Biden's forthcoming executive order, you understand, or you are aware, or you know straight outright because you studied the legalities, you understand the Constitution and the limits on legislative and executive power and the separation of powers clause that exists in the Constitution, governing just how much overlap in terms of power and authority each of the three branches of federal government have: judicial, legislative, and of course the executive. You understand that probably better than I do, but as far as my understanding is, because of previous Supreme Court decisions regarding mandates and things of that nature, the federal government, in this case President Biden, lacks the constitutionally granted authority to require the American public at large to pursue a vaccine or get vaccinated. It is outside the scope of the federal authority that is under his purview. As far as I'm aware, it will at this point require an act of Congress to mandate nationwide vaccinations. And because of how Congress is divided right now, the odds of that happening are as close to zero as makes no difference. And if you've been watching the news or paying attention to the news, you already know that a number of states' governors, and I believe also attorneys general, have already filed lawsuits in different circuit courts or different federal courts or different federal appeals courts or whatever the case may be, whatever they have to do to get that process started, to challenge the executive order's authority. And as soon as the ink dries on that order, assuming Biden even writes it out and signs it or whatever the case, however that works out, it's going to be stayed by a federal judge without question, because it does come down to a fundamental lack of authority. And as far as I'm aware, the White House and its occupant, whether it had been Trump if he'd won re-election or Biden or whoever, the authority to do this just is not there. So everyone who is coming out against this executive order, as far as I'm aware, again, as far as I'm aware, I am not a legal scholar, just like I'm not a doctor. This order legally has no basis, and it cannot stand. It will be stayed or vacated, or however it ends up being ruled. So anyone worried about the mandate affecting them at this point, I would say that you're worrying for nothing. However, the folks who are planning to go on strike and the truck drivers who are planning to go on their different versions of strikes across the eastern seaboard, as I said in my previous video about the trucker strikes, I do support this statement. I do support this message being sent and shown to the federal government that they are playing with fire. They really are. Continuing to overstep bounds in this capacity, regardless of the moral justification or the correctness of the action. We're sick and tired of all this COVID mandate crap, lockdown crap. We are sick of it. We are tired of it. We are done with this. We want to move on with our lives. We want things to be opened up again. We want to be able to travel without restriction. We want to be able to see friends and family and meet new people, connect with old friends, however it works. We want to have our planet reopened. Obviously, that's not going to happen for a long time, because different national governments are pursuing different strategies with regards to their own individual nations and their public health. And in the case of Europe or other national collections of nations or continents, the processes are different, literally country to country. And it is what it is until we all just open back up, whenever that actually happens, or if ever that actually happens, depending on which nation we're talking about here. If you've been watching the news, you know Australia is not having a fun time right now. Different nations of Europe are not having a fun time, while others are already basically just wide open and saying, come on in, we're open for business, swing on through. We'd love to have you. Just make sure you're vaccinated, or at least have a negative COVID test, or whatever the case may be. So that's where we're at. I support the strike. I support the message that's being sent. I support the endeavor. I do hope that everyone who participates in the strikes does so with the maximum attention to safety for themselves as well as for the people around them, because our trucks are so huge and so heavy. We all know this. It does breed the possibility for danger. So I really do honestly hope that everyone who's participating in the strike on the road to send the message does so with maximum safety, again, for themselves and everyone else around them. As for me, you you can tell I'm in my truck. If you've been following my videos, all 11 of you who are currently subscribed to me, thank you to all of you who have joined my subscription. I really do appreciate it, every single one of you. I hope to have more as we go on. I was not planning to work tomorrow, but unfortunately that changed. That is where I opened the video with the best laid plans of mice and often go awry. I was supposed to deliver the load I currently have on Friday and grab a return trip load to get me to home base so I could take the weekend off and then be off tomorrow, as previously I had planned that. However, unfortunately, the receiver, I got a call from the broker directly, and they informed me that the receiver was going to close before I would get there, and they were not going to have anyone wait for me. They were said, okay, either you're here by this time or we're just not going to take you until Monday. And it's like, well, you know, it is what it is. Now, if I was a different driver or I had more clout or it was my own operating authority, I would probably have a different take on it maybe, but I'm running under someone else's authority. I am leased on to another carrier. And for me personally, getting this load delivered, unfortunately, takes precedence over my personal politics or even industry politics. The customer had expected this load to be delivered actually this past Thursday, but timing issues just didn't line up. We kept them informed. They knew what was going on. It's like, okay, well, we'll get it to you as fast as we'll get it to us as fast as you can on Friday, and we'll just go from there. So the customer has already had to wait by this point 4 days for their 3 days and change for their delivery. And honestly, at this point, to me, it is more important for my customer, even though it's brokered through the carrier that I'm leased on with. I consider them my customer. They are my people. My customer is relying upon me to deliver this freight, and I feel that it is to my personal advantage to get my customer satisfied as fast as I possibly can within federal regulations. And that's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my politics aside, and I'm going to get this load delivered, and then I'm going to hopefully get a return leg shipment, either a short run that gets me close to home, or one that's going to let me pass through the house to take care of my business tomorrow afternoon, and then get back on the road Tuesday and make that delivery or go wherever I need to go, or however it works out from there. That is the plan, because again, it's just one of those things where things fell how they fell, and I personally believe that it is better for me to make sure the customer is taken care of, so that they look upon me and the carrier I'm leased on with favorably and wish to do business with us in the future. So that is what it is. And some of you folks who watch this, whether you're watching it day of or in the future, you might have a similar opinion, differing opinions. You know, that's just it is what it is. We're all going to have different views on the situation and what we should or should not be doing. I just believe that for me this is the right course of action, and so that's what I'm going to do. I would rather not be working. I would rather be showing solidarity with my fellow truck drivers who are going to be participating in the strike by not working, even though it was pre-planned home time. So I really can't say I'm participating in the strike because I'm not working. No, it was pre-planned home time. It just happens to be coincidentally it was intended to fall on the same day that the strikes are going to happen. So yeah, best laid plans don't always work out. If you've been a driver for any length of time, you understand exactly what that means, because you have been there, whether you liked it or not, whether you needed it to work your way or not. That's how the ball bounces sometimes, and how you bounce with it is entirely your decision, your discretion, especially if you're an owner-operator. It's a different level of responsibility, different intensity of responsibility, and a different way of thinking about it, in my opinion, that just comes with owning the truck and having to keep the wheels moving in order to keep earning. So, you know what, at the end of the day, we've all got to make the decision that we feel is best for ourselves, for our businesses. If we're individual owner-operators, or we're small fleet owners, or we're part of a larger conglomerate, or we're a company driver, we have to make the decisions that we feel best reflect the needs of the moment, ourselves, our safety, and our financial futures, our families, the companies we work for, and of course, our customers. So yeah, that's about all I can say on that. I've rabbit trailed long enough, so I wish you all a lovely evening. Again, all you folks who are taking part in the strike tomorrow, good luck to you. Be safe, and I hope the message gets sent loud and clear. Thank you for watching. We'll see you down the road.